For me, as I got older, I realized that for me to be in a healthy place, mentally and emotionally, I needed to spend about 90% of the day by myself. And not isolated, not in the middle of nowhere. I can be around people per se, but with regards to like fully engaged emotionally, verbally, voluntarily, really only 10% of the day. To keep me in a healthy, balanced place for my own well being. Because remember, most people have a very unhealthy relationship with themselves and with the people in their lives. And this is toxic. And it's your job as an adult to develop yourself, to do what you need to do to put yourself in a healthy place so that whenever you engage with others, you are able to have a healthy relationship, professionally, personally, etc. Definitely personally, every way, forget about it. So I think you should assign a percentage, because I think percentages like 50%, 70%, I think they help us visualize better what we need to do, right? So there's extroverts and introverts, and there's a range, a spectrum. An extrovert would be someone who's very social and they get a lot of energy from being around others, being in relationships, etc. And then there's introverts, people who like to spend most of their time by themselves, and they get energy, they recharge when they're alone. And again, there's a spectrum. There's people that are very extroverted and people that are very introverted. I'm definitely more on the introverted side, but I'm not fully extreme, right? But I know my balance. Whether it's 80 or 90% of the day, I like to be by myself. And that's why for me, again, like marriage, children, all those things, even though I respect relationships, I think they're great and all those things, it's just not for me, because I would be out of balance every day for years on end, spending half of my day with someone or having to come home. It's just not who I am, right? So you have to know who you are, which takes time. And then you have to know that nothing is perfect. You sacrifice, like I sacrifice some of that enjoyment for keeping myself in a healthy place. It's like you can't have everything. You can't have every desire and keep yourself in a healthy place. It's just like cake, right? It's just like steak. It's just like anything that you may like. If you have too much of it, if you're unbalanced, you're going to put yourself in an unhealthy situation. So this message is basically to say, not to say necessarily what works for me, even though I'm sharing it to help you. It's to ask yourself, okay, as you develop yourself, as you get older, okay, how much personal time do I need? And what do I need to do to accomplish that? Like, again, for me, getting out there in the workforce and building my career and working jobs that sucked was so that I could live alone and not have roommates. Because if I know I need to spend 90% of the time by myself, sharing space with other people in my personal time would not be healthy for me. Okay, so you do what you have to do to get where you want to get, but these are things you have to learn and develop. And you have to acknowledge whether it's with, do you really want a relationship? Is it really healthy for you? Do you really want to do this or that? You got to look at the percentages of what you need to keep yourself in a healthy place. And you got to save that capacity for the people that are priority in your life, because you don't want to waste that capacity on relationships that are frivolous, okay? Because, you got priority relationships. And then when people change on that priority list, you reevaluate, okay? But you got to take care of yourself. That's what these videos are about, self-care, okay? Is that you're trying to figure out who you are, what your individual needs are. Because remember, we're all human, we're all connected in that regard, but we all have individual fingerprints. So we're not the same. We're not 100% the same, even if we're similar. No matter if it's your parents, friends, or someone online, we are not 100% the same. So you have to figure out what works for you, your percentages, connect with people in a healthy way, and prioritize that. And just take care of yourself emotionally. A lot of people are emotionally damaged because life is hard. So they get an emotional support dog. They have unhealthy relationships because they're not working on emotional health. There's a lot of talk now about mental health, which is tied into emotional, and physical health, which is all great. These are all tied in. But emotional health is knowing what you need to do to keep yourself emotionally balanced, okay? And then working on it. It doesn't just flow. You have to work at it. And that's another thing I want to share with you. It's like, I do believe that certain things should flow, right? But in life, going to the gym doesn't flow. You got to push yourself. Waking up early doesn't flow. You got to push yourself. Balancing your life and boundaries doesn't just flow, okay? You have to constantly be aware of it and push yourself to put yourself in a healthy position. So that's the message. I hope it helped. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.